Hey folks, this is a Let's Talk video as the title says. Now in this video I probably will stumble on my words at times. I cross words and get a little bit lost in thought. But it happens. I don't want to do multiple takes in this here. I just want to talk basically and we'll see how it goes. But the whole point of this video is to try and help because right now Studio Wildcard have announced plans for the future of the game, and there's been a large amount of complaints coming out from the community. Definitely a large amount of complaints, and I want to talk about it and basically offer a different perspective with the interest of helping. Basically, that's the only reason why I'm doing this here. I think it might help. I don't know if it will help you or not, but I just want to offer a different perspective. I'm going to approach this video from three different ways. One, it will be a business perspective from Studio Wildcard side, from a customer's perspective, which will be your side, and then my own perspective, basically what my own thoughts are as well. So there'll be a business perspective, business-wise, customer-wise, and my opinion as well. So we're going to talk about it, and I've got to this file here, so give me a little second. Good, that came up without me here. This video here is just it's not anything related to what I'm actually talking about today. It's just a playlist I put together of some content, unedited content, but I've actually edited and put up onto my YouTube for upcoming episodes of my story arc season, and also a new series that will be coming up, a quest series, some playlists. They're just there, so it's just something for you to look at while I'm talking. So, what's actually happening, right? And I have talked about it in a video in the past, and it was on a news video in the past where I talked about this, and it was basically on a community crunch. Studio Wildcard announced that Ark 2 was going to be getting delayed. That is still happening. Um, but they actually came back with a second update and changed their plans on some things because after the initial community crunch post that they made announcing that R2 was going to be delayed and also announcing Ark Survival Ascended, there was a massive amount of big complaints about it. So, for those that don't know, initially there was an old package announced, Ark Survival Ascended and Ark 2. Now, initially at first I thought Ark 2 was actually just a demo of Ark 2. I didn't actually catch that it was the actual game as well. So for $50 you're going to get Ark Survival Ascended and Ark 2. But the Ark Survival Ascended, which is essentially Ark Evolved, upgraded and added basically an Unreal Engine 5. That's what Ark Ascended is. It's Ark Evolved and a new brand new engine there. So for $50 you were getting that and Ark 2, but you weren't getting all the story arc maps. They were going to be on separate DLCs, which is one from my own personal perspective. I didn't actually like that because I'd got Ark from for free, but I bought all the DLCs, so I wasn't happy about having to buy the DLCs. So I could understand complaints related to that as well. So that put me off there, but you're going to have to spend $20 on a package that includes Scorched Earth Aberration Extension, another $20 for a Genesis Pass for Part 1 and Part 2. And all in all, it was going to be $90 in total. And you have to remember, Ark Survival Ascended is essentially a game that people has already played. It's just in a new engine. So that was some of the complaints were about that. Some of the complaints were also about there was a package for Ark 2 and Ark Ascended. So even if you didn't want Ark 2, you were having to pay for it anyway because the fight, if it was just Ark Ascended only, part of the price included Ark 2, so that inflated the price for something you may not want. And personally, Ark 2, I must admit, isn't something I'm overly interested in right now based in there. Maybe once I've seen gameplay, which no one has seen any gameplay for Ark 2 or Ark in Unreal Engine 2, which doesn't help if, from a business perspective for Studio Wildcard, that doesn't help at all. And that is something I have acknowledged in a recent community crunch about showing footage for that, but they want to wait until they have more of a final look of it. before doing that. But once they actually show footage of it, that could go a long way to actually helping with the complaints. But that's old package. Ark Survival Ascended and Ark 2 for $50. It was 2 games in one. But the Ark Survival Ascended wasn't the complete game because there was 2-hour DLCs for $20 each. But you put the price up to $90 in total. People complained about the R2, which was fair enough from our customer perspective. If you didn't want R2, having to buy the package sucked, basically. And that's something I was kind of thinking about. I wasn't entirely happy with the old package, but it was mostly from the DLC side of things. But originally I thought R2 was just a demo. I didn't actually think it was the game. But the new package that's now coming out is Ark Survival Ascended on its own. But this time there's not any DLCs, there's loads of maps. All the maps basically, not loads of maps, but all the maps that are currently in the game are going to be released as part of that one price, which is $60. Now that's $10 more than Ascended and R2, but at the same time, initially it was $90 for 2 games, but for one game you're paying $60. And a lot of people are complaining about that because the price for Ark 2 hasn't been released right now, but people are presuming it's probably going to be at least $60 for it. So that's actually going to be more money now in the long run that Studio Wildcard are asking people to pay. So from a customer perspective, that's not good. But at the same time, from a business perspective, Studio Wildcard haven't announced the price for Ark 2. Maybe it's going to be $30. And if it is $30 for Ark 2, then that puts the price for the two of them at $90, which is what the initial old package announcement was going to be. However, the chances that that's going to be $30, I don't think that's going to be true, and I can see why people are complaining about that. So if there's something for Studio Wildcard to remember, when you actually do finally announce the price for Ark 2, you have to remember that initially you announced a package deal that it was always going to be $90 for everything. There is another DLC, a brand new DLC. It's coming to Ark Ascended at some point, but I believe that was announced in the old package. I forgot to check before starting to record this video. But there was another DLC announced, a brand new DLC coming to Ark Ascended, which isn't in an Ark Evolved. So yeah, that is coming. That hasn't changed or anything like that. That's still happening there. So that's the reason why I'm not mentioning it, but I'll acknowledge it. There is another DLC coming as well. So it'll be another $20 on top of the price as well, what people are paying. But right now, I'm specifically talking about Ark Ascended and Ark 2, basically, for the moment. So for $120, it would be Ark 2 and Ark Survival Ascended. That is generally what people are thinking is going to be. So that's $30 more than the old package, which is was $90 in total. So people are complaining about that. And from a customer perspective, I don't blame them. I don't blame them for complaining about that. And from a business perspective, what I would say to Studio Wildcard is you have to remember that you announced the package that it was going to be for total $90. So once you price Ark 2, if you price it at a way it's going to be higher than $90, which is what everyone is presuming right now, then you are going to hear this community answer. You think the complaints right now are bad. A lot of the complaints right now are based on speculation and presumption right now. But if it actually turns out to be true, this community is going to be an absolute uproar. And honestly, I wouldn't blame them there. So that's something you have to remember. You've kind of backed yourself in a corner here. So basically, when it comes to how much you're going to charge for Ark 2 here. So that's something you need to remember and something you need to plan for as well. And something you need to warn as well. If it is going to be $60 and it's going to turn out to be $30 more than what you initially announced, you're going to have to give a damn good reason for what that is, for why that is, and give something from a customer perspective where people look at it and say, okay, this is $30 more, but I am getting this much I wasn't initially getting, and I'm getting that I wasn't initially getting as well. So that's something food for thought for a business perspective side of things there for Studio Wildcard. And from a customer perspective, we don't know what the price is for Ark 2 right now. If it is $30, then that's going to be the same price that was initially announced, and that's fine. I personally, from my own personal perspective, I feel like the old package and the new package was overpriced. Personally, I wouldn't pay $60 for Ark Ark Ascended, but I recognise there's probably going to be sales at some point, and I'll probably get it then. Ark 2, I'm not overly interested in because it feels like it's more story driven, the story, and I'm going to have to play with NPCs, and one of them's going to look like Vin Diesel. And for me, I just want to get dropped into a map by myself and have to survive with dinosaurs. That's what I want. And that's what I love about Ark Evolved. I don't really want to be taken out of that immersion of that. But seeing a character that looks like Vin Diesel is going to take me out of that, basically. And also, I'm not entirely eager on the idea of an NPC character being a child as well in a game that I'm playing as well. It just doesn't appeal to me. That. So for that reason, I'm not overly interested in Ark 2. But at the same time, it does have dinosaurs. So I was always going to wait until I saw a trailer, saw something for it, some gameplay for it, and then make a decision then. But that's my own perspective there. Now, I think I've covered everything I was going to cover in Ark stuff there, so not too bad actually. There. But that's the part that I said I opened the video and said I was looking to try and help. Mostly the help is going to come with one of the other major complaints, which started from the old package and it's continued on with the new package as well. And that is that the official servers are getting closed down. This has caused probably the biggest uproar out of everything, it seems like. For me, anyway, for what I've seen, a lot of people complaining about it here, and I can understand from a customer perspective why they're complaining about it. Sorry, sometimes my nose gets itchy. Yeah, it's a biology thing, look it up. Or why, if you see streamers get a scratch on their nose and they have headphones on and they're constantly talking on stream, then look it up because you'll see there's an actual biological reason for it. But I'll get back to what the real point of this video is now. So yeah, the official servers. This game's been coming up for its 8th year anniversary, Ark Survival Evolved, and it's had official servers that people can play on and run by Studio Wildcard, and I've been playing with their friends on it there for most of the 8 years. So these official servers in Ark Evolved are getting closed, and there's going to be new official server put up in Ark Ascended. From a business perspective, it makes sense because the official servers don't have a large user base. There is a user base, but it's a small percentage of the overall player base in Ark. So it makes sense if Ark Studio Wildcard would look at that and think, okay, we could probably just close that because it would be easier for us just to close these ones and start afresh with these brand new ones in this game. But from a customer perspective, these players, even if it's a small percentage of players, they have put potentially up to 8 years, a good amount of years into these gameplay on these servers. They have a lot of buildings are built up, there's a lot of probably mods and stuff like that that are installed, a lot of unique items and stuff like that they've got in events. There's tames and everything for the dinosaurs and everything that they have. There's a unique colouring that they've done. There's a whole bunch of breeding that they've done as well to get the perfect stats on dinosaurs and everything. There's a whole lot of things and time and care that they've put into this gameplay, and they're just getting that taken away from them. So I can understand from a customer perspective why they're mad about it, and I can also understand from a business perspective why Studio Wildcard are doing it as well. It's one of these catch-22 situations. It's a decision where there's no really right and wrong. It is what it is. It sucks for those in the official servers, but at the same time, I would actually say to them, you have to recognise that you're actually a small part of the community. Not a small part of the community, that's the wrong thing to say, I apologise. You're not a small part of the community, but the user base that plays on the official server is a small. Still important, but it is small compared to the overall user base. I think that's a better way of putting it. I'm sorry for the way I originally said it there. But yeah. You have to do official servers when it's actually run by the gaming company. It's never going to be a permanent thing lasting forever. It has been 8 years. I think it's, but I don't know how long the official servers have been up. I presume it wasn't right at the beginning of the game. It was some point after the game went live or something, I presume. But here is a solution. But I think I'm not 100% certain about this, but I think this could be a solution here. And I'm just going to put it out there. Community, I'm going to put it out there with an asterisk, but I've never actually coded an Unreal Engine until in any Unreal Engines. I don't know the engine. I do have a programming background, but that's in work scripting, and it was also in PHP web design, and there. But I am familiar with variables. I'm familiar with switches. I'm familiar with if else statements. I'm familiar with functions. So I presume there's something like that in the Unreal Engine that goes on. I don't know for certain, but I presume it would be something similar to that. So with that being said, there's one common thing I can see between Ark Evolved and Ark Ascended that I don't really think is going to change, and that is the screen where the terminal screen, basically where you upload the Ark items to the Ark data, or you upload a cryopod dinosaur into the Ark data so you can keep your saddle, or you upload a creature to the creature list. I don't see that screen changing between the two. I don't see any idea why that would change. So with that being said, I feel like there's something in that it possibly could be used to actually back up. Not so much all the items and stuff like that that people have. Well, first off, let's go to the buildings, because I will have to say this here, but if people on the official servers are destroying their buildings, when sorry, but you couldn't have cared too much about your buildings in the first place if you're just so haphazardly going to destroy your buildings yourself, and you really couldn't care about the buildings in the first place. That's just my honest opinion about that. All the Ark items and stuff like that you have from mods and stuff like that, that's all going to change in the new game anyway, so there's not really going to be any way to keep that. But when it comes to the dinosaur teams, that is the part I really do understand, but why people are upset about losing, because there's probably been tons of hours and hours and hours put into breeding and getting the perfect stats on these servers, so that I can completely understand. But what I'm thinking here, and I don't know, I tried to have a look into it to see if I could figure out exactly what files that creature list, when you upload a dinosaur to the creature list, and when you put an item into the Ark data, like where does that go data wise in the files? I tried to have a look to see if I could see where that was, but I couldn't clearly see it. Like for example, for those that don't know, within your Steam library, the Ark folder, a common Ark went into where it is at the moment, but there is a save folder, and you can go into there. You can see all your saves for each of the maps, with the exception of the island. Every single map has its own folder, Ragnarok, Ark Data, and stuff like that there. So that's where all your saves for your games are. But when it comes to actually the creature list and the Ark Data list, there isn't a specific Ark Data file with the two that I can see. But hypothetically speaking, if there was a creature list file, specifically Ark data file, it just includes all the information related to that creature, like its color codes, its stats, and levels, and everything that it has. And there's a Ark data file with everything that needs to be saved on that. Then what you can do, possibly, it leads to an option where you can basically take that Ark data. Let's say it's creaturelist.ark data. Let's say it's arcdata.ark data. Ark data is the extension file for all the data and everything and the files. If I'm not. So basically, arcdata.ark data would be the data screen where the 50 items that you can put in. Creaturelist.ark data would be the 50, basically the list of 50 dinosaurs there. Now, it's not set up in that way, so it would require Studio Wildcard to do that, basically, so there's an actual file. Then what can happen here, and there's a little pernickety, a little bit of work I realise for those in the official server, but what you can do is you can actually get your dinosaurs. There's up to 50 dinosaurs that you can put into a cryopod and put into that Ark data. Up to 50 dinosaurs that you can upload to the creature. Then you start up a single player game. Then you go to the single player game and you download the creatures there and you leave them on the single player game. Because my understanding is the official servers are closing in Ark Evolved, but you'll still be able to play single player on it. Basically for as long as you want, for years to come, you can still play the single player if you want. There's just not going to be any support for you, basically, after that. August, I think it will be. But you can still play the single player. So that single player game there, and what you do is you download your creatures from the official servers. Now, I don't know if there's a rule or not where you're not allowed to download the creatures from the official servers. If there is, then that rule needs to be removed. Basically, it needs to be opened up so people can actually download the creatures from the official servers. Because I know there'll be some specific rules related to the official servers. I've never played on them, so I don't know exactly what it is. But if you can actually download the creatures and put it onto a single player game, then you can just leave them there in a cryo fridge or storage cupboard or something like that, vault or something like that. Probably a cryo fridge is better. Then once Ark Ascended comes out, once there's official servers started up in that, now yet again rules about servers and stuff like that. Maybe you're not allowed to download creatures and transport creatures over to the official servers, but maybe there would be some official servers opened up where you're allowed to do that. So then whoever your tribe leader is can basically organise with everyone in the tribe to basically take dinosaurs, put it onto the single player server. Then at some point they go to the official server and say, okay, this is the official server. Then you go to your single player on Ark Ascended. Then you upload the creatures to that screen, which, as I said, it shouldn't change. I don't see any reason why that screen for the download, the creature list and the Ark data list, Ark data would change. There's not any reason for that to change, I would think. So you've basically, therefore, if it's not changing the way it works, shouldn't change either as well. So if you have the creature data list, it should work in Ark Ascended and from there. So you upload the creatures back there. You go to the creature list.ark data. You copy that, you paste it over into the Ark Ascended file structure, and then you download the creatures onto the official server, and that's the way to keep your temps. I think now it would require Studio Wildcard probably to change things around, because at the present moment it doesn't work in that way, because I definitely couldn't see a creature list file and I couldn't see an RP list file. But if Studio Wildcard could put some time into it and actually look at that screen and say, okay, if we can get all that data put into a specific file for people, then the people can back up that file and then they can transfer over to Ascended because it worked the exact same way. And I think that is a way to resolve it. But as I said, I don't know Unreal Engine 5, so there might be missing information that I'm not aware of that would actually prevent that from working. But right at the present moment, there isn't a creature list.arc data file and there isn't an arcdata.arc data file. But if Studio Weld could set it up, where in that screen when you upload a creature to that, there's an actual creature list file there for you to use, and it works the exact same way in Ark Ascended. So when you upload it there'll be code somewhere in a file that basically makes a call to that. There'll be a function in a file somewhere that controls all that stuff in there. So there'll be function code in a file, a separate file, and it makes a call over to the creature list file if you're working on that screen, and then the same thing for the art data as well. But that's the general idea that I'm thinking that could resolve this, but it would require Studio Wildcard to set it up, so that it would have to be a creature list file which contains all the information related to the dinosaur you uploaded, and there would be an art data file which includes all the information related to the item you've added to that art data. Now, this would be specifically for teams only. It wouldn't actually be for, well, it would be teams and cryopods. It would maybe a cryofridge, maybe no. Basically that. So anything else would probably not work. I would think. Like you're run the risk of maybe it not working out at all if you try and transfer like I don't know, clothing from a Viking mod or something like that. Try and transfer that over, it wouldn't work. But specifically, this could be a way to at least save the teams. So an idea I thought of that could help, it could not help. I don't really know, but I'm putting it out there anyway into the community, and hopefully it maybe not be a complete idea, but maybe someone else will see this and they'll think of something more and think, oh, actually, that's not quite right, but we could do this instead or something like that. So maybe it'll lead to some sort of solution that actually does work. But anyway, I'm putting that out there for the moment. So yeah, that's what we talk about the official server. I've talked about the old package versus the new package, what's happening, my own thoughts there. So finally, I'm trying to think how to wrap this up. While I was actually just before I started doing the actual talking about the official server, I had it in my mind what I was going to say, but I got so caught up into the talking about the official servers and the solution, but I completely forgot what it was now. But yeah, I think the biggest thing that I can say right now is, yeah, that's what I was actually going to talk about. I haven't seen any, no one's really seen any gameplay in Unreal Engine 5, but Unreal Engine 5 is basically it's a much better engine. It looks like a much better engine by a grand mile. Miles better engine here. So when you first look at this here, Ark Survival Ascended is essentially Ark Evolved in a new engine, so it's like the exact same game. But I feel like it could be the same game, but it's actually going to be a different game because I think the how the dinosaurs move, all these dinosaurs being able to track you from smell, I think that is huge things, but it's actually going to make Ark Ascended different from Ark Evolved. There could be other factors as well, like how things load in, how your computer runs as well, and all that stuff here. I think all that's going to be improved. So even though it's the same game and a new engine, it's not going to be the same game. I think it will be different, but at the same time, I can only speculate on that. But based on my experience and everything and that there, I do think it would be a different game and not the exact same. I think it's going to maybe look it's going to look so much better and it's going to be function differently as well. But at the same time, it's very difficult for me to confirm that without actually seeing any gameplay footage. And that's the biggest thing of all. Studio Wildcard really need to get gameplay footage from this game and in Unreal and 5. It's all good and well seeing these different screenshots of different creatures and stuff like that. And I think, to be fair to Studio Wildcard and from a business perspective, they do know that they do know it, and I think they are working behind the scenes to try and do it. But at the same time, it is a legit complaint regarding the package price, the old package compared to the new package. Right now, it's $90 the old package was going to be, and the new package is probably going to be at least $120. Because I don't think Arc 2 will be $30. At least. But for all we know, it might be. And if it is $30, that's the same price as the old package. So people might be complaining over nothing here. There is a lot some people in the community who are pretty much set in stone that it's going to be priced higher. I'm not entirely convinced it is going to be priced higher, but I can see the potential of it being priced higher. So I can understand the complaints, and that's something Studio Wildcard are going to have to manage very, very carefully when they announce the price of Ark 2. And I wish them luck with that, because honestly, I'm leaning towards it being priced higher, but I don't know for certain. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt for the moment. But then again, I'm only a newish player compared to that. I haven't been here for the full 8 years. So anyway, that's my whole thoughts on the whole thing. I actually did quite well getting it all out actually. So yeah, anyway. Uh, this is the part I always feel weird saying this in Let's Talk, 'cause I have my whole thing here, but it's different. I have to do it differently in Let's Talk. So if you like the sound of what I was said in this video, then please like the video. If you would like to see featured gameplay content from me, then please subscribe for featured content. And until next time, you take care.